Madhyori Charanam, Jainandalala. Welcome everybody. So we continue again with Adi Shankara. Last two sessions were Adi Shankara. This is like the part 3. Like I said, Adi Shankara cannot be done in one session. He has achieved too much. He has covered the whole ancient India. And we have to at least cover 30%, if not 100%, because that'll take too many sessions, countless. But we have to get to know this great saint, the beautiful avataram of Lord Shiva. Now we stopped last time after the Kapalika was attacked by Lord Narasimha. And that we realized that Lord Narasimha took the body of Padmapada. So he took the body of Padmapada and he gave darshan to everybody there. And obviously when Adi Shankara saw Lord Narasimha in all his glorious form, he had to sing and recite the beautiful Sri Lakshmi Narasimha Karavalambam Stotram. We are all familiar with that. And that is also composed by Adi Shankara. How beautiful. He has not let go of any gods. He has covered everybody. He has covered everyone. Name the god, he has composed a beautiful composition on them. So it's countless number of compositions that he has given us. It's like a gem. It's a treasure box and never ending. It's beautiful. Now he recited that as Lord Narasimha was standing there. He recited this beautiful composition. And you can hear it. M.S. Subbalakshmi has done full justice. You can go and hear it on YouTube whenever you want. It's called the Sri Lakshmi Narasimha Karavalambam Stotram. Now, we got to know about Hastamalaka. We got to know about Padmapada. This story kind of concludes Padmapada's whole episode. And then comes, then we got to know about Mandana Mishra, who later came to be known as Sureshwara. Now the last one of the 4 that we have not spoken about is Thotakacharya. Now Thotakacharya was initially called Giri. He attained the name Thotakacharya later on, but initially his name was Giri. Now he was not as learned as Mandana Mishra, or he was not the realized one or the surrendered one as Padmapada, nor was he the realized one as the Hastamalaka either. He was a very ordinary disciple. Why I say ordinary was he believed in doing his duties to his teacher. So he used to take care of everything. If he coughed, he would run and get the water. So the Acharya didn't have to ask for anything. He knew beforehand what the Acharya wanted. Now we've seen that with Ambal also, right? When Sri Amma was with us, there are only very few who will know what she wants. Have you seen that? Have you noticed it? So many people are there. They're all in their own world. Maybe they're in a trance. They're thinking about her. They're thinking they're in this place where they can't think beyond that. All that said and done. But there is one who knows what Ambal wants. Before she asks for it, she'll turn her head and they'll come and give it to her. Very few like that, if you have noticed. And Amma will love that person, because to get into that favorite list, that is also a blessing. It has to be given from her only. She's the one who gives it. But without her saying anything, when it is handed to her, that disciple is really blessed. And that is Thotakacharya. That is Giri. Now, he was the one who used to take care of Acharya like nobody else. His everyday wants, his everyday, Acharya never called out anybody, I want this, I want that. Never. He was a person who got things done by himself, for himself. He would go take his water, he would go, but Giri never allowed that. He never wanted Acharya to exert himself. If Acharya coughed, the water was given. If Acharya was, the rain came out, he would give him something to cover the head. So all was taken care of by Giri. So he was special. He was very special. Devoted servant, you can say. A devoted servant. His personal comforts, like if Acharya had a long walk, Giri would massage his feet. Acharya never asked for it. He would stretch his leg, and then immediately Giri would be on his feet, massaging it. So that is like, I don't know, it's the comforts. A servant who knows what the master wants and gives it to him without him asking. That was Giri. Now, Acharya loved Giri. He has the soft corner for Giri. Though he was not, like I said, though he was not as learned as Mandana Mishra, or the realized one is Astamalaka, or the surrendered one is Padmapada, Giri was one of his favorites. He loved Giri. So one time Giri was washing Acharya's clothes, in the river, and Acharya was going to start the lesson. So lesson was going to begin. Everybody's seated, everybody's waiting. Acharya's waiting. He's looking outside and he's waiting. Everybody's wondering why he's waiting. Why is Acharya waiting? What happened? Then one person says, oh, I think he's waiting for Giri. He's not come yet. So Acharya says, yes, I'm waiting for Giri. So one of the disciples say, why are you waiting for Giri? He doesn't know anything. He's not going to understand anything. Anyway, he comes and he does his job here. He doesn't pay attention to what you teach anyway. So why are you waiting for him? Acharya got a little upset by what the disciple said. Because according to him, he has placed Giri in a very big, high pedestal. And he loves it. So he wanted to teach everybody a lesson. He wanted to show who Giri really is. So Giri, on the way here, he's brought all the clothes to dry, and he's on the way, and he realizes the classes are going to start. So he rushes. Once he enters, he gets this blissful state. And immediately he looks at Acharya and starts singing. He recites this beautiful composition in praise of Adi Shankara, his master. I will recite to you one or two phrases and you will know what I'm talking about. विदिता किल शास्त्र सुधा जलदे महितोपनिषत् कथितार्धनिदे विदिता किल शास्त्र सुधा जलदे महितोपनिषत् कथितार्धनिदे हृदये कलये विमलं चरणं भव शंकर देशिक मे शरणं करुणा वरुणालय पालय मां भवसागर दुःख विदून हृदं करुणा वरुणालय पालय मां भव सागर दुःख विदून हृदं रचया किल दर्शन तत्त्वविदं भव शंकर देशिक मे शरणं भवता जनता सुहिता भविता निज बोध विचारण चारुमते भवता जनता सुहिता भविता निज बोध विचारण चारुमते कलयेश्वर जीवविके कथितं भव शंकर देशिक मे शरणं भव एव भव एव भवानिति मे नितरां समजायत चेतसि कौतुकिता भव एव भवानिति मे नितरां समजायत चेतसि कौतुकिता मम वारय मोहमहाजलधिं भव शंकर देशिक मे शरणं भव शंकर देशिक मे शरणं. There are actually 8 stanzas and I sang 4. The meaning of it, I'm just going to give you an idea. How much a person who had no knowledge, he has never sung before, nobody knows he sings, comes up with such a complicated composition only with his grace. The first stanza means, oh, the one with the knowledge of all the Shastras, like the ocean that gave the nectar. Nectar came out of the ocean, isn't it? Like that. He has all the knowledge of the Shastras, he says. Who preaches the treasure-like internal meanings of the great Upanishads. I meditate in my heart on your holy feet, O great teacher. Shankara, be my refuge. Charanam is I'm in your feet. The second one, ocean of compassion. Please protect me. Karuna Varunalaya Palayama. Whose heart is afflicted by the misery of this world existence. So you're the one who takes us out of that worldly desires. Make me understand the knowledge of all the schools of philosophy. Oh, great teacher. Shankara, I am in your feet. I take refuge in your feet. Shankara Desika Me Charanam. So every line in the end, he says, Sharanam. Shankara Desika Me Charanam. It's like Madhyoli Charanam. We always say Madhyoli Charanam. What is it? Taking refuge in her feet. Always in her feet. Charanam. So it goes like this. And the third one, the one who knows the true self, he's telling Shankara, you're the one who knows the true self, by whom the people found ultimate happiness, who is skilled in understanding the knowledge of the supreme self. Oh, with a beautiful mind. He's telling Shankara all this. Make me understand about God and Jiva. Oh, great teacher, again. Shankara Desika me charana. I take refuge in your feet. Knowing that, the last one that I said, the fourth one, knowing that you are the embodied form of the Supreme Lord, isn't he? Isn't he Paramashiva himself? This truth fills my heart full of excitement, he says. Knowing that you are Lord Shiva himself, it fills my heart with excitement. Protect me from this vast ocean of delusion. O great teacher, Shankara, I take refuge in your feet. Beautiful. Can you imagine he just recited it off the hook like that? Just, I don't know. Nobody had a clue. So Adi Shankara gave a shock to everybody through Giri. That's when he got the name Thotakacharya. And this got the name as Thotakashtaka. Beautiful. Now he made Thotakacharya the head of the Badrinath Mutt. Now, we need to understand that, remember Shankaracharya's mother said that she will call out to him if she ever needs him. He told her, he promised her that he will come whenever she needs him, and this last days, he will be there. That day had come. And his mother was very ill. And she remembered that her son said that if she called out to him, he will be there. So she just called out, Shankara. And there he was. He was right there. He said, yes, Amma, I'm here. And that is the power Adi Shankara had. He gave her the word and he stuck to it. He was right there. He said, I'm here, Amma. I'm here. I'm here right by your side. Tell me. And then they had to catch up, right? All those years of not seeing the mother. They had to catch up. Little time they had. And she's in her deathbed. And she says, Shankara, tell me, what have you been up to? So he's telling her, I've composed this, I've composed that, I've sang these songs, these poems. So, and then I wrote, all this thing about Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, all this I have written, explanations of it, That's what Adi Shankara did in Advaita, Vedanta and all that. He's telling her all this, whatever he has achieved. She says, I don't understand all that right now. I'm not understanding it. It is too much for me, she says. You sing a nice song for me. So he says, okay, I'll sing a song for you. And he sings a Vishnu song. Vishnu is so pleased to hear that song. I mean, after all, that is Lord Shiva himself, right? He comes right there. He comes right there. He's so pleased to hear that song. He comes right there. And his mother sees Lord Vishnu and he's like, Narayana, you're here. And Vishnu takes her with him. Who gets the direct ticket like that? Nobody gets a direct ticket like that. We have to come back and live the life again, depending on our karmas, right? Who gets this ticket like this? Lord Vishnu comes and takes her immediately. Body is there. Now, Shankaracharya, being a sannyasi, he's taken sannyasam. So, according to the Shastras, he's not supposed to do any rituals. He cannot do the rituals for his mother, the rites for his mother. He cannot do. But in spite of all that, rules and all that, he does it. He takes it. He takes it on himself and he does it. Nobody helps him because they're all like, no, this is against the Shastrams. You cannot do it and all that. And nobody helps him. The priests don't come. The neighbors don't come. The relatives don't come. He's all alone with his mother's body to do all her rites. Think about it. Only a detached soul can do that. Anybody normal he'll be beaten up, right? Emotionally beaten up. Forget physically, emotionally he'll be really down. He had to carry his mother's body and he can't take it anywhere. So he had to do it in his backyard. So he took it and he placed it in the backyard. Now there is no wood or anything. They have banana leaves everywhere, banana trees everywhere. So he covered the body in banana leaves. If you're aware, banana leaves are not flammable. You cannot start a fire with those leaves. You cannot obviously cremate her body with those leaves and branches or anything. But she covers the body with the banana leaves. He does, and he invokes Agni Deva. After all, he is the Lord Shiva himself. So he invokes Agni Deva, and the impossible becomes possible. The banana leaves start burning. Now everybody is shocked to see that, he did it on his own. He cremated his mother on his own. None of the Brahmanas, Nambudiri Brahmins came to help him. He's from the Nambudiri family, Shankaracharya. But none of them came to help him. He did it on his own. It was done. And back to his mission. He didn't stay there. He didn't mourn. He's beyond all that, right? He went there to do his duty. He spent that time with his mother and back in his mission. Now, Adi Shankaracharya had this special devotion towards Devi. And we're all aware of that. Wherever he went, he had to install a Sri Chakram. Sri Chakram is the Devi, right? And that we know, this special devotion, love for the Devi. I'm not surprised why, right? Who's he after all? Lord Shiva. He has to love the Devi. Now there's a story. Lord Shiva is always in a meditative state, as we all are aware of that. And Goddess Parvati always yearns to hear the Lord talk sweet praises of her. This is her little desire. She doesn't say it out, but She has it there. And the Lord does understand and he knows, he's aware of it. He's aware that she wants to hear sweet praises about her. So how does he fulfill that? Let's see how that unfolds. Now, one day he tells his, the other gods, he says to Goddess Parvati, I'm going to take birth on earth. I'm going to go down and be born on earth as a unique avatar, he says. Here, I live only for a very short while as a saint, he says, as a sannyas. So all the lords are so excited. Indra, Brahma, all of them are excited. They're like, I'm also coming with you. I'll also come. Goddess Saraswati. Everybody's like, I'm also coming with you. I'll also come. We'll all be a part of this mission. I will also help you. So that's why we see, right? Mandana Mishra is what? Lord Brahma's avatar. And who is Bharati? Goddess Saraswati. So they're all here to help the Lord bring this thing together. Now it is a joy to watch all these different avatarams, correct? Now this is one of them. So all the gods are in this together. And now the goddess is very inquisitive, anxious. Who? Parvati. She's like sitting and watching all this unfold. She's like, okay, this is interesting. The Lord is going to take an avatar. And I'm not in it. Let's see. Because he said he's a sannyasi now. Always her part is not there. So she's sitting and watching. So she asks him, what is the reason for this avatar, Swami? So he says, to save the Sanatana Dharma, I have to go. I have to go because there's a lot of atrocities happening. So I have to go and refresh everybody's minds. It's like a refresh button, right? What happens when you press the refresh button? Everything is back to where it was, correct? So that's what he wanted to do. Now, and then he looked at the goddess and he says, you always wanted me to praise you, right? Well, this is the avatar I'm going to take. And I'm going to praise you all the way, he says. I'm going to only be singing your glories. So the goddess is like, really? Is that what it is? So he says, yes, you'll really like this avatar, he says. That's so cute, isn't it? So, well, we've seen that, how it unfolds, right? How it unfolded. We saw the Annapurna Ashtakam and the Bhavani Ashtakam and the Brahma Ramba Ashtakam and Devi Pancharatnam and Gauri Dashakam and Lalita Panchakam and Meenakshi Ashtakam and Meenakshi Pancharatnam. I can keep going on and on and on. He really spent all his life. Who? Adi Shankara. Spent all his life glorifying the Devi in every temple. Then the crown of all that, was Soundarya Lahari. The Soundarya Lahari Stotra was the crown. It's like the diamond crown of all the stotras he has done so far. And now, how did Devi enjoy this avatar? But timingly, she showed her Raudra Rupam in almost all the temples. And he had to come and install the Sri Chakram. He had to come and put a Tadangam. And so cute. Look at the sweetness. And he would come and sing her praises in the temple to make her Shantam. That we have seen too, isn't it? So he fulfilled her small desires. That small desire she had. She wanted him to praise her. And there it was. If he had done this in Mount Kailash, just saying, if he had done this in Mount Kailash, would we have been able to hear it? No. Singing the Devi's praises is not a small thing. And it should not be missed out by any of her devotees. So this was his plan. He praised her in the open so that we also get to hear it. It's recorded, and now we can sing her praises. Beautiful, isn't it? And also, of course, according to Lord Shiva, he's not a poet. He's a yogi. He's an Adi yogi. He's not a poet. According to him, he can be anything. But according to him, he says, I'm not good at this. So I was born as this unique avatar who's a poet, who can compose, and who can do full justice in glorifying your name. He tells the Devi. Now we have all those beautiful compositions so that we can sit and glorify her too. Now let's get to know a little bit of how Soundarya Lahari happened. Now when Adi Shankara went to Mount Kailash, he sat and meditated. He's an avataram. For instance, Adi Shankara didn't know he was Lord Shiva. He didn't know. So he's praying to Lord Shiva. Doesn't. That's how it is. And he's sitting and meditating on Lord Shiva in Mount Kailash. And Lord Shiva comes and gives him darshan. So beautiful. So he comes there and he hands over the 100 verses of Soundarya Lahari in his hand. He says, here, keep it. This is the treasure box. 100 verses. Go and sing its glory and spread the word to everybody, he says. Now, who can spread better than Adi Shankara? He can sing beautifully, right? So Lord Shiva is like, you can sing it better. I can't do this. Go sing it. So he gives him all the 100 verses of Soundarya Lahari, puts it in his hand and says, go. On top of this, he also gives him 5 Spatika lingams. 5 Spatika lingams he hands over to Adi Shankara. And he says, keep it wherever you want. You feel, wherever you feel, just place it, install it. Now he's holding all this so close to us, so happy. He does Shashtanga Namaskaram to the Lord. He's very happy. And he's walking down. It's so cold, right? So he's walking down. Suddenly Nandi comes from nowhere. Now Nandi got this information that he got these 100 verses talking about the Devi. Now the Lord has never written anything so far. Now Nandi is thinking, why did he have to give it to him? This is all the Lord's play, right? So Nandi says, what do you have in your hand? So Adi Shankara says, I have this, the Lord has given. Can I see it? So Adi Shankara shows it to him. And he says, do one thing. It's only fair that we have half-half. So you keep half and I keep half, and he tears it and he gives them one half. So one half Adi Shankara has, the other half Nandi has. Now he cannot argue because this is Nandi in front of him. Can you argue with Nandi? Who's Nandi? The most dearest, the most, closest to the Lord. You can't argue with him. Just you take half and I'll keep half. So now Nandi gave him the half, the first half that Nandi gave, he has. Now he's like, he feels terrible. He didn't know what to tell Nandi, so he ran back to Mount Kailash and he's praying and praying, I want to see the Lord again. So the Lord comes. Lord Shiva comes in front of him. He says, what happened? He says, this happened. He tells him what happened. And he says, now I have only this much. I have only the half with me, the first half I have. So Lord smiles and he says, don't worry, you will compose the rest of them. Anyway, this was what it should have been. So you compose the rest of them, you keep my half, and then you compose yours. No, Adi Shankara doesn't know what to do, where to start. But the Lord has given him consent, right? So it happens. Now the first stanzas is called the Ananda Lahari. It's called Ananda Lahari, Waves of Bliss. And it's the first part has all the aspects of yantra, tantra, and all the powerful forms of the Devi. So first, and you read the Puranam of Adi Shankara, the actual story, it says that Lord Shiva had written the 100 verses, and all the 100 verses has mainly the yantra and tantram and all the powerful forms of the Devi. It'll be so overwhelming. It can be intimidating for a person who reads the Soundarya Lahari, who knows the meaning. Now, by snatching away the other half and making Adi Shankara write that part, because that part that Adi Shankara wrote is called the Soundarya Lahari. And what does that mean? Soundarya Lahari means it's divine beauty of the universal mother. Waves of beauty. It's only glorifying the goddess's beauty. How beautiful she is. The Soundarya Lahari it starts from the top of her gem-studded crown on her head to her sacred feet. That is Soundarya Lahari, the other half, which Adi Shankara. The first half has all these, it consists of all the systematic exposition of the concept of the Kundalini and the Sri Chakra and the mantras and the power of the Lalita Tripura Sundari, her powers. And it has Devi Mahatmyam, all this put together. It's like this powerful goddess in front of you, is what Lord Shiva has given. To move on to the sweetest, calmest side is Adi Shankara's composition, is Soundarya Lahari, the other half, the 59 verses that Adi Shankara wrote. that's how the Soundarya Lahari happened. Now, the first line of Soundarya Lahari says that Shiva, when united with Shakti, has the power to create. Otherwise, he is incapable of even movement. That is what the first verse says. And obviously that was given by Shiva, right? That was given by Lord himself. I'll recite to you the first one. Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yati Bhavati Shakta Prabhavitum Na Chedevam Devo Na Kalu Kushala Spanditumapi Atastwamaradhyam Harihara Virinchadi Birapi Pranamtum Stotum Va Katamakrita Punya Prabhavati. This is the first verse of the Soundarya Lahari. What does it say? Lord Shiva is capable, becomes capable of creating this universe only when he is associated with the Shakti. Otherwise, it becomes impossible for him to even move. They say, right? Shivane no Kanandrika. That is Shiva. When you talk about Shiva, when you say Adi Yogi, it's not just like that. He can sit without moving for ages. Shivane no Kanandrika is a verse, right? In Tamil. Shivane nirne. What does that mean? Doing nothing. Calm. Quiet. No gossip. It's all very positive. Calmness. That is Shivan. So the first phrase is that only with Shakti we can even move. Shows the power of her, right? Right there. Shows the power. Now, that is our beautiful Soundarya Lahari. Now, the second part explains how beautiful she is. I told you the second part that Adi Shankara says, has written, has explained her, how beautiful she is. Her eyes like the lotus, she shines like the moon. It's very beautiful, all the explanation of her features. Now, back to this 5 lingams that Lord Shiva gave Adi Shankara along with Soundarya Lahari. He gave Adi Shankara 5 lingams, correct? Now, let's see what he does with these 5 lingams. The 5 lingams has, it's named Moksha Lingam, Vara Lingam, Bhoga Lingam, Mukti Lingam, Yoga Lingam. Now, Adi Shankara has installed the Moksha Lingam in Chidambaram, Vara Lingam in Neelakanta Kshetram in Nepal, and Bhoga Lingam in Sringeri, Sharada Peetam, and Mukti Lingam in Kedarnath, and Yoga Lingam in Kanchimat. So this is how he installed all the lingams in various places. Now, after he took the lingam from Lord Shiva, he returned to Kedarnath, where he installed the Mukti Lingam, like I said, and he set up a mutt in Badrinath. We all know that, right? One of the madam was in Badri, is in Badri. Then proceeding to Nepal, he debated a lot of Buddhist monks over there who claimed their religion is great and stuff like that. So he debated them and won. He beat them and he won. And there, that is where he installed the Varalingam at Nepal. And then he went to Dwaraka in the west of India, city of Krishna, Lord Krishna. He established the Madam there. And then he went across to Puri on the east and worshipped Jagannatha, Lord Jagannatha. Puri is Lord Jagannatha. And established a Madam there. Then he came to Sri Shailam in Andhra Pradesh, where he composed a lot of hymns. One of them is Soundarya Lahari. And he installed the Sri Chakram in front of goddess Brahmarambikai. Again, he has to do that, right? The goddess, lover of the goddess. It was this time that Acharya put an end to the Kapalikas also. You remember we had that last session. It was in this place and in Andhra Pradesh. And then he instead, the Kapalikas, you remember they make a human sacrifice, correct? Instead of that, he introduced breaking of the coconuts. Now, why is that? So he stopped the sacrifices and he told them to use coconuts instead. He said they are also very similar to the human skull. He said, why do you have to break or sacrifice human beings? Instead, break the coconut. It's very similar to human skull. Think of it as that and break the coconut, he says. Now he's explaining. He explained to them the coconut has fibers, right? That is the hair. Fibers are the hair. Hard shell of the coconut is the skull, he says. And the juice inside the coconut is the blood. And the white fruit inside is the flesh. So he convinced them. This is how he changed a lot of these practices that were going on around. This is just one of them. And he convinces and he made them switch to coconuts. Now, it's not only that, coconut is, we use coconuts for everything, right? The main Naivedyam. So the coconut in Sanskrit is referred to as the Sri Phala, that is the God's fruit. And common offerings are coconut in the temple. It's a sattvic fruit and it is very sacred and pure. Because that's when you open it, right? Offered during many occasions. Now, whether it's buying a new vehicle or housewarming, yagnas, it's broken in front of Ganesha. Ganesha loves it. How much of you break, you can go and break how many coconuts, he will take it as prasadam. Now, the 3 eye marks are the 3 eyes of Lord Shiva. Have you seen the 3 eyes on the coconut? Those are the 3 eyes of Lord Shiva. Now, symbolic of breaking. What is it symbolic? It symbolizes breaking one's ego. When you break a coconut, you're breaking your ego. Your ego breaks. You're humbling yourself, being humble before the Lord. Because the shell is hard, right? So that's the ego. I give one, explanation was it's the skull, it's the hair, everything is there in one place. But the other philosophical reason is this. The ego has to be smashed to reveal the soft, white, pure inside. We've seen that inside of the coconut is white and pure, soft, which is also inner peace and knowledge. So that is how this coconut is when you understand why we break coconuts. Now, the coconut fibers outside represent our desires. And we strip all the fibers. Don't we strip all the fibers? Because only then the coconut will break better. We have to strip off the fiber. If you try to break a coconut with all the fibers and then they are the cushioning thing, it will never break. So you have to strip off all those fibers if you noticed, right? So we strip it off, which enables the breaking of the coconut easier. That is why stripping off the desires. When you're stripping off the fibers, it's stripping off the desires. And then breaking our ego to reveal our beautiful, pure inner self. The inner coconut juice is our selfish thoughts and negative thoughts. All that is the juice inside. Hence, breaking a coconut signifies complete surrender. So you're stripping off the desires and you're breaking the hard shell, ego. And then the inner, the juice of all the selfish and negative thoughts to reveal the pure self, the white fruit inside. Complete surrender. And that is what signifies the breaking of the coconut is so important. So whenever you break a coconut now, remember what you're actually breaking, not the coconut, right? It's our ego. So this is how he introduced breaking of the coconuts to the world. Now then he went to Mugambigai. This is where he met with his disciple Hastamalaka. And then he proceeded to Karnataka to Sringeri. And he established a shrine to Sri Sharadambal. Installed the Boga Lingam here, one of the lingams, Patika lingams. After that, he went to Tirupati, where he established the Dhanakarshana Yantram. Now, this is very important. It explains why, even today, it pours wealth in Tirupati. One of the richest gods in Tirupati. Because of the Dhanakarshana Yantram. See, yantrams are so powerful. And that too, the Lord himself has gone and installed it there. It's funny when people say Adi Shankara is a Shaivite and all that. He would have, it doesn't make any sense him installing it in Shiva temples because Shivan doesn't want wealth. But just saying, if he was a Shaivite, he wouldn't even go to Tirupati. He wouldn't even compose so many things he composed on Lord Vishnu and his avatarams. So, well, that being said, then he went to Trichy. Our favorite Ambal is there, no? Jambukeshwara temple. He was called, it was an emergency call to that temple because the Ambal was, doing a little drama to see him, to lure him there. And which he did. She was successful and he was there. He installed the Ganesha, the Prasanna Ganesha in front of her, and the Tadakam that she asked. And he made it beautifully, engraved the Sri Chakram in it, and did the Tadanka Pratishte for her. Wow. Beautiful. And then he went to Rameshwaram. After that, he visited Chidambaram, where he installed the Moksha Lingam, one of the Spatika Lingams given to him. Then he went to Kanchipuram. This is one of the 7 Moksha Kshetrams. It is a place where scholars and saints, they have to at least visit once in their lifetime. So it is one of the very, very important places for them. As the name signifies, Kanchi is the waistline of the earth. It's the central spot. Now, Acharya, what did he do, Adi Shankara? He asked the king, whoever was the king, the current king at that time of Kanchi, to plan the city in a way that in the form of a Sri Chakram. So he asked he planned it for the king. He told him the layout and everything, just like the Sri Chakram, giving the central place of the shrine of Sri Kamakshi. So he put on that center, keeping her there, which she already was, but he made her the center and then planned the whole city around it. How beautiful. Like a Sri Chakram. Even today, all the Utsava Murtis in all the temples of Kanchi go around this Kamakshi shrine. They don't go anywhere else. They go around her. Now that the only goddess, Kamakshi, Lalita Tripura Sundari. Now there is no other Shiva temple in Kanchipuram that has a shrine of a separate consort of Lord Shiva, Parvati shrine. There is no separate shrine for her. Goddess Kamakshi is the only one, queen of Kanchi. Now, Acharya established the Kamakoti Peetham here and installed the Yoga Lingam there. Now, as we know, all the madams are going forward with their great mission that he entrusted on them. And one incident, before I conclude Adi Shankara's episode, is when he was in Kashi. I love this. He was in Kashi, he just took a dip in the Ganges, and he's walking up with his disciples. His disciples are all in front of him, trying to keep everybody away, Acharya's coming, move, kind of thing. So, and he walks fast up the step. Somebody's coming down, walking down. And they call those people Chandala because they are the ones who help in the cremation ground. They're the ones who pick up the body and cremate and do all that stuff over there. So usually people don't even go near them. He was coming down with his wife and then 3 dogs in the back, all from the graveyard, the cremation ground. So his disciples are like, move away. Acharya's coming, move away. So this Chandala, he asks, the body or the Atma? So he asked him to move, right? So the person is asking, the vagabond is asking, the body or the Atma? And he's explaining, if it is the body, then it is made of the same elements as of your gurus. And after all, you think it's an illusion, according to your Advaita, Vedanta. Correct? He says. Okay, if it is the Atma that you want me to move, then Atma cannot move. Atma is everywhere. Atma is one with the Lord. So what do you want me to move? He says. Adi Shankara looks up at him because he knew this is not ordinary person. He knew immediately that it was the Lord himself, Lord Shiva. So according to his Advaita Vedantam, everybody is equal. The body is illusion, which makes the Atma real. And Atma alone is not alone, it's one with the Lord. All this journey and all this thing that we're going through is because we want to reach that Lord, our final destination. The Atma has to go and reach the Paramatma. That's all. So simple. And he falls at his feet. Shashtanga Namaskar. He falls at his feet and takes his blessings and apologizes. Beautiful. Adi Shankara, I am so humbled to be taking this. I'm so humbled to be talking about a great soul like him. We wouldn't have what we have today if not for this great soul, this great avataram. Madhyoli Charanam Jai Nandalala.